Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer not coming to you from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. Instead, we are outside Alec Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field. It is opening day, LSU Baseball 2025, and we are fired up to be here. Jacob Beck and Cassie Spazzali are back there on the ones and twos. We got 2 hours to get you ready for LSU and Purdue Fort Wayne in the season opener. We're going to chat with Kramer Robertson a little bit later. Antoine Duplantis is going to stop by a little bit later. Alex Milazzo will be here as well. And we're going to talk a little football with Preston Guy in the second hour, but lots of baseball over the next 2 hours, so lock us in. We are fired up. You are here. We'll start the same way we start every single day with our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
All right, my pleasure to welcome to the set Jamie Tutco, Director of Player Development. I've also seen Video Director, Scouting. How should I introduce Jamie Tutco today? You wear a lot of hats these days.
Yeah, no, Director of Player Development is perfect, yeah. Director of Player Development.
And you're actually, speaking of wearing a hat, you're actually wearing baseball pants today, which you were not when you sat in this chair last year. We're changing things up attire-wise for the game today?
Yeah, you know, I decided to switch it up a little bit. My roles have changed a little moving into this year, so, you know, really excited and figured I should go ahead and match what everybody else is wearing in the dugout.
I like to see it. Look, if you see Jay Johnson at some point in the dugout this season, you'll probably see Jamie Tutco right there beside him. How are the guys right now? I know that dating back, obviously, to the fall, it's a lot of playing each other. It's a lot of empty stadiums. And then finally today you're going to have 10,000 in there and you're going to be playing somebody else. Give me the mindset of the team today.
Yeah, I mean, they're excited, obviously. I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a little bit of butterflies. There always are when it's opening day. And, you know, they're definitely excited to, you know, play somebody else in a different uniform. You can tell that over the last couple of weeks, it's, you know, they've been itching at it. So a lot of excitement. The guys are locked in. They're taking BP right now and getting ready to go.
It's a different era. As of 5 years ago, you would have generally had 20, 30, 20, 25 guys that played last year on the team together. It's not the case anymore. You're going to have defections. You're going to have guys that leave in the draft. You all have had a whole host of those. And then you're going to bring in a lot of talent, freshmen and transfer portal guys. So what's gone into the fall and the preseason as far as making that a cohesive team as opposed to just a bunch of really talented dudes? Because I know y'all have that.
Yeah, no, it's extremely important. The team aspect, you know, at this level, you know, of college baseball is unbelievably important. And, you know, going back to like the 2023 season, that team just gelled on a totally different level. And, you know, leading up to the regular season, throughout the fall, I mean, it was just everything that we did was together. Everything that we're doing on the field from a practice side is all about the team and you know, really stressing that, you know, the team goals outweigh each individual goals. And if we take care of our team goals, the individual goals will come.
They certainly did for that team. Let's talk a little bit about your team entering today. Kane Anderson's going to get the baseball first. We saw him last year. There were some outings where, man, he was lights out. I think back to Rice, Southeastern, and even his last couple of outings in the SEC tournament and the regional. But there were some bumpy ones in the middle, as a freshman generally would. What did you see from him last year, and what should we see today?
Yeah, last year, I think when he made his first outing in the fall, I remember looking over at Coach Johnson and saying, that's what they look like, right? That's what the Friday night guy in this league looks like as a freshman. And last year, you know, he ended up throwing, I think, somewhere around 40 innings and threw some really big innings, especially down the stretch, obviously. And, you know, one thing that he really focused on moving into this year was developing a second breaking ball, right? It was mainly fastball, curveball last year. The slider development on top of the changeup development has been unbelievably huge for him and has really set him on this path where he, you know, he earned the Friday night job throughout the fall and then throughout the spring scrimmages. So, you know, really excited to see him go out there and you know, compete because that's what he does really well.
How's he mentally? We haven't seen him you know, as a starter and at this level before. Talk to kind of the mental makeup of the youngster.
Yeah, you know, I talked to him. This was probably about 3 weeks ago, and I had caught him in the pitching lab, and it was just the two of us before practice one day. And I looked at him and I said, "Hey, man, you are only a sophomore, right? But the guys in the locker room, the guys on this staff, they look up to you like you're a senior, right? They look up to you with every single thing that you do, and don't stop, continuing to be that leader that you are. So from a mentality side of things, there's no worry for me whatsoever. I mean, he's extremely confident, and he's going to go out there, and you'll see that from pitch one.
We're talking to Jamie Tutco, LSU's Director of Player Development, out here before LSU and Purdue Fort Wayne from the box. Tomorrow, Anthony Ianson will get the ball. This is a year where y'all have taken a lot of guys from quote-unquote lower levels, whether it be a different conference, different junior college. There's a few guys as well, as opposed to the Tommy White, Jacob Berry, Thatcher Hurd, Gage Jump, Luke Coleman. Those guys were from Power 5. Ianson was really good at Cal San Diego last year. How has that translated to SEC guys in scrimmages? Yeah,
you're right. He came from a smaller school, obviously, and but when we were evaluating him throughout the transfer portal, he was also he was a Team USA guy, right? So he had earned his spot on that team, based off of his performance last year, obviously. But looking at him in the transfer portal, it was pretty obvious. Nowadays, with the amount of video, the amount of TrackMan data, all the information that we can find, we were able to look and say, this guy is there's a no-brainer that this guy can pitch in this league. It's just all about a mentality side of things, right? He's never done it. The stuff is more than good enough. And the first time I met him when he came on his recruiting visit, it was evident right away that the mental side of things was not going to be an issue for this kid. He's phenomenal, unbelievable, 80 makeup, like we like to say, 80 makeup, phenomenal kid, and you'll see, tomorrow when he goes out there and competes too.
Gavin Guidry's a guy that I'm interested to see because we know him so well. But Jay talked in multiple interviews about whether or not he might be stretched out, potentially could look at starting, got to develop a third pitch probably to do that. Where is he different than he's been the first 2 years where he's pitched a lot of big-time spots for y'all?
Yeah, no, you nailed it right on the head. The development of a third and a fourth pitch has been unbelievably huge for him. The first 2 years he's been so dominant out of the bullpen with pretty much two pitches. It's fastball and it's slider, and we use the slider a ton. And, I like to talk to him about the slider being like his get-out-of-jail card, right? We've always got the slider. The slider's always going to be there. You fall behind in the count, we're good because we've got the slider, right? And that's why he's been able to have a lot of success. But, if he wanted to take that next step in his development, it was going to be the development of the curveball, the development of the changeup, and then working on the fastball command. And he's done all of that. This past summer, he went out to Driveline in Arizona, worked his tail off, and came back in the fall and was arguably, one of our top 2 or 3 pitchers in the fall from a result standpoint, and then was really, really good as well in the spring and the scrimmages. And, really excited for him. And I think that, you're going to probably end up seeing him in multiple different roles this year and not just that back end. And if that's what the role that he carves out and he's the back end guy, I mean, there's nobody else on that staff that I would rather give the ball to with a 1-run lead at home in the 9th inning against Tennessee. It's a no-brainer. It's Gavin Guidry.
When you think about catcher, 3 guys have caught 100% of y'all's games the last 2 years as far as starting catching concerns, and 2 of them ran out of eligibility. Alex Milazzo sitting in that tent over there. I don't think he's going to be much help to y'all today, and 1 transferred out. So you're going to have different guys behind the plate. I know that's a big deal for the pitching staff. What have you seen from those guys?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's totally different. You're talking about a guy in Luis Hernandez who has 4 years of college baseball playing experience at Indiana State, but he was not necessarily, he wasn't a catcher at Indiana State. They had a Gold Glove catcher. He caught a little bit here and there, but it was more of a DH and would play the corner first and third. But he has come in here and if you would have seen him in the fall, you would have never guessed that he was not a catcher at his previous stop. I mean, he's come in and he is just, I like to say, he's just a baseball guy. He understands the staff. He relates to the guys. He's able to calm guys down in the moment. The moment's not going to be too big for him, playing in front of 10,000. It's probably the first time he's ever going to play in front of 10,000 people, and there's no worry at all with him. And Cade Aaron Beatty, the young buck, getting in there and really, really performing well in the fall, and then in the early spring scrimmages, he's going to get that opportunity to play here soon too. And really, really excited for both of those 2 guys. I know there's no SEC playing experience between the 2 of them, but that does not worry me in any way.
I'm curious about the amount of talent that y'all have as far as the position players go. And I know Jay is close to the vest of the lineup, so I'm not trying to put you on the spot with that. But you're going to start 9 guys today. Is it fair to say that over the Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to see some other guys in the starting lineup?
Yeah. If not in the starting lineup, you're going to see them coming into the game at some point. You know, from a depth perspective, this team is as deep as it gets in college baseball, especially the lineup and the staff-wise. But, yes, you will see multiple options. It's going to be, you know, they're going to throw a left-hander tomorrow, so I can promise you that the lineup today is not going to be the same that it is tomorrow. So, but, yeah, there's going to be a lot of guys getting different opportunities over the first couple of weeks.
You got any opening day superstitions?
No, I like to get here early. Okay. So I didn't beat Coach Johnson today. I tried to.
What time was that?
I pulled in about 7:15, so 7:15. So not super early, but he was already here, and he was rocking and rolling, ready to go.
Y'all got a meeting to get to, so I'll let you go. That's Jamie Tutco, the Director of Player Development. I appreciate a little bit of your time today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
He is Jamie Tutco. He's got to go get to a meeting, go win a baseball game, but we appreciate him for giving us a little bit of time here on this opening day. We're out here outside Alec Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field, LSU and Purdue Fort Wayne. Take a time out. We'll come back with a little bit more of the Hunt Palmer Show. Kramer Robertson, not too far down the line, so we'll see if we can grab him coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Look, bathroom can be a hazardous place. We know that. And especially as folks age, you may want to mitigate against what could be a really harmful fall. If you've got somebody in your life that is aging, maybe lives alone, and you want to do what you can to try to avoid that type of situation, non-slip floors are available. You can put handrails against slippery places. You can do walk-in tubs that are, one, more convenient and two, safer. You can put benches and showers, and they can handle the entire thing, as David Duvall always says, from soup to nuts. If you're thinking, I'm paying for that right now, maybe not be awesome. I understand that's a common theme, but there is financing available, 0% for 18 months, same as cash if you qualify for that. It all starts at OneBathAndClosets.com. Get on by and see him by the website. David Duvall and his team are happy to help you. It's all there online, OneBathAndClosets.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. service Chevrolet.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp.
Fired up to be here at Alex Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field. A lot of purple and gold swarming this place right now, and it should be pretty full house. Look, here's the deal. I have seen better opening days as far as weather goes. I have seen a lot worse. My freshman year at LSU, it was 2007 season. It was Maneri's first year, and I walked over to the old box. Charlie Furbush was on the mound against St. Mary's. I would bet every nickel to my name that in the fifth inning there's no chance it was in the high 30s. It had to be around 30 degrees. It was so cold. Furbush, I think, struck out like the first 7 guys he faced or something. The team was very good, but it could be worse. But it's pretty nice. Everybody's got their jackets on and they're filing inside the box to see some baseball this afternoon. As soon as we have the lineup, which I would imagine will be in about 40 minutes, we'll certainly get to it. As I've mentioned a couple of times, we're going to chat with Kramer Robertson here in a few minutes. We're going to chat with Antoine Duplantis and Alex Milazzo as well. If you're coming out to the box right now and would like to come by and say hey to them, more importantly than me, they're at the National L Club tent right there between all the flags that spell out LSU's 7 national championships. I'm just about 50 yards, 45 yards over to their right behind home plate near the big tiger here at the box. So go by, see them. Come on by and say hey to me. We appreciate it very much. I appreciate Jamie Tutco for giving us a little bit of time here today because I know he's got to get to a meeting. And now as I look out, I got distracted there because it started to rain. Where did that come from? I didn't even know that was a possibility. I got Bo in here scrambling. He's moving the camera. It's not a torrential rain, but it is raining a little bit. So hopefully that gets on out of here over the course of the next hour and 30 minutes. But we've still got a lot of baseball to talk about. And I want to start with Cade Anderson right here. We did briefly mention him with Jamie Tutco, and they've talked about him being kind of a transformed guy. And I mentioned this on yesterday's show, and certainly do mean it. They need Cade Anderson or someone to really take the bull by the horns for this team and be a guy that can go out there on Fridays and dominate. I'm not asking for Paul Skeens. I'm not asking for Hagen Smith. Those guys excuse me, was fighting off a sneeze there for a minute. But I am asking for somebody who reliably can go out there for 6 2/3, 7 1/3, strike out 8 or 9, and hold the other team to 2 runs. Like, that's something you've got to have. And we've seen LSU teams in the past that haven't had that. And all indications from inside LSU's baseball program are that Cade Anderson is ready for this. But you never really know until you see it. And he's got the mid-90s fastball. We'll see that today. I am really excited to get a look at this new slider. Last year, if you remember with Cade Anderson, the breaking ball was a little bit loopy. Now, it could be dominant. It was really good in the game against Southeastern over in Hammond early in the season, and it was really good in the regional in Chapel Hill. That pitch can be effective, but it doesn't tunnel with a fastball all that well, so it could be easier to pick up. For Cade to be able to throw that fastball at 95 and then tunnel, if you're not familiar with that, the ball looks the same. It's in the same kind of tunnel, for lack of a better term, and then it just breaks off the table and it's sharper. That's the pitch that Cade Anderson has developed that is going to separate him here. And one of the things that I picked up from Jay's press conferences, and y'all know how I feel about press conferences, I can leave like 90% of what's said in a press conference complete coach speak. If you were listening to Kellen Moore yesterday down in Metairie talking about his job with the Saints, there was very little from that you could even glean. Like, it was just a bunch of nothing. And that's okay. I'm okay. That doesn't mean Kellen Moore's disqualified from the gig. Like, I think that's fine. But every once in a while, I will pick up something in a press conference that I think does mean something. And when Jay Johnson was asked about everybody wanting to be the Friday night starter and everybody wanting to be the closer, he said, and I'm paraphrasing, something to the effect of, I mean, if you've watched any of the scrimmages, the guy that's going to start for us on Friday is not really up for debate. And that is something that I think means a lot, because this is not just based on a radar gun read. This is not based on in football terms, like a 5-star recruit. This is not based on anything that has been promised for a Lifetime Achievement Award. This is based on a guy who went out there against a lineup that we think has legitimately 10 guys, 11 guys that are legitimate SEC hitters, and has churned them up. And that means a lot. So I'm excited to watch Cade Anderson pitch in this game, and I think that's the biggest piece to today's puzzle. There are a couple of other things that I will be watching for. One, and I've mentioned this a lot, but it is certainly worth bearing as we get into this. Catching defense is so freaking important. And I know we like to look at the statistics and say how many home runs you have and how many runs you drove in, and we like to look at pitchers' ERAs, and we like to look at pitcher strikeout numbers, and all that's well and good. But there are little things that mean so much in tight games. And when you play 30 of these SEC games, games get tight. And one thing that does not differ in playing Purdue, Fort Wayne, or Tennessee is receiving and blocking the baseball, because it's not getting hit. So if you can't do it against Purdue, Fort Wayne, you can't do it against Tennessee. And if you can do it against Purdue, Fort Wayne, you can do it against Tennessee. And when I have gone out to watch LSU in scrimmages thus far in the fall and in the spring, the preseason as it were, I have seen a lot of free bases from balls that were not blocked up. Some of that's on the pitchers, but some of that is on the catchers, and it's not unique to just one guy. It's not like LSU's got, and I can use this guy because he's a legend. Not like they got Brad Cressy out there. Well, yeah, he went out there and he gave up 3 free bases today, but you know what? He hit 2 homers and drove in 6 runs, so we'll live. Not like you got somebody back there like that behind the plate. So you need someone behind the plate that's going to block the ball up. And I'm not talking about just today. I'm talking about today, tomorrow, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You have to block the baseball up. You cannot allow really good teams to get into scoring position when they don't earn it. If you got Skeens back there on the mound, well, he can probably strike the next 2 guys out. Newsflash, we ain't got Skeens. So you've got to play good defense, and that's Luis Hernandez, that is Cade Arambidi, that is Blaze Priester if he gets a shot back there. And something that I've been told, and I'll be watching for this, is there are some batteries, meaning the pitcher and the catcher, that they feel good about, and some that they don't feel as good about. So do not be surprised if over the course of the next 5 games, which is through the midweek and even into next weekend, if you see a pitching change in the 6th or 7th inning, maybe even in the 9th inning, and with it comes a catcher change. And I'll be looking for that, and you'll kind of get a sense of who they feel good about catching who. And some of that has to do with guys that trust more with their breaking ball. Like, it's a different thing catching William Schmidt, who can be a little bit, who's got great stuff, but can be a little bit, he can miss his spots a little bit. And it's a little bit different than catching Gavin Guidry, who is going to spike that breaking ball and spike that breaking ball and spike that breaking ball time and time and time again. Those are 2 different guys to catch. So you may see 2 different guys catch those 2 guys. So there's so much talent on this LSU pitching staff. Guidry, Schmidt certainly included in that. Cade Anderson certainly included in that. You heard Jamie Tutco in the previous segment talking about Anthony Ianson. I'm excited to see Chase Shores on Sunday. I mean, you're just dripping with talent and guys that can throw it so hard and spin the ball so well. But they present different challenges to catchers. And I'm curious to see who they trust. My understanding is that Luis Hernandez is going to catch today. If we find out differently than that, I'll certainly let you know. But that's my understanding, that you will see that today. And I'm curious to see how all of that goes. It's a big, big deal for this team. And then I think over the course of the next 3 days, as we talked to Jamie Tutco about in the last segment, you're going to see different guys play. This is a segment that I did on Tuesday and have continued to do really all week about how different lineups shake out than they do on opening day. I do not expect, like, Tanner Reeves to be in the lineup today to start. He could be. Maybe he's DH. I'm not sure. That wouldn't surprise me at all. But I think he's probably your 4th infielder at this point. He's going to start a game here pretty soon and get a couple pinch hit at bats pretty soon because they see something in that bat. And I don't think you'll see him in the starting lineup tomorrow because, as Jamie said, Purdue Fort Wayne is going to throw a left-hander tomorrow, so that means that you're probably going to see as many right-handed bats as LSU can put in there reasonably. You're not going to pull some of the guys out of there, but you're going to see some guys hitting from the right side, and that's not Tanner Reeves. So Milam can hit from the right side. Obviously, Braswell can hit from the right side, and Danny Dickinson hits from the right side. So maybe tomorrow's not the day for Danny Dickinson, so maybe Sunday is the day for Danny Dickinson. Maybe today is the day for Tanner Reeves. But you're going to see him. You're going to see Ashton Larson and Josh Pearson at some point. Those guys are too good to just sit there and collect dust in the dugout. Like, that's not going to happen. So you're going to see a host of guys play, and they'll see kind of where it shakes out. And then the last thing is the deploying of the bullpen, specifically in close games. I'm not as concerned with who goes out there and gives me an inning or 2 innings in a 13-1 game, which you could see today. That doesn't mean a lot to me. But if over the course of the next 3 days you get into a 6-5 game, a 6-4 game in the 6th or 7th inning, who's up? Who's ready to go? Because I feel like Connor Ware and Gavin Guidry are the 2 guys that I would peg in that slot, but I don't know that that's the case until we see it. And those 2 guys both are very capable of going out there and getting 7 outs, so coming in the 7th inning and getting the last out in the 7th and then going through the 8th and 9th like Griffin Herring did a bunch last year. And I think both of those guys are probably capable of going out there and getting 3 outs in the 9th of a close game and then coming back 2 days later and giving you 2 innings in that game so they can affect 2 different games. I don't know how Jay Johnson wants to handle that. It got to a point last year where you knew that once LSU got a chance in the first game of the SEC weekend, whether that was Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or even Thursday, Griffin Herring was coming in there in the 7th inning, and he was going to go the rest of the way, and that's probably all you're going to see from him the entire weekend. Maybe that's what they want to do again this year. Maybe they don't, because they have more options. They didn't really have any options last year. Every once in a while, Ackenhausen was good. Every once in a while, he wasn't. Every once in a while, Yo was good. Every once in a while, he wasn't. Every once in a while, Christian Little was good. Every once in a while, he wasn't. And so you were so hot and cold out there, you just had to choke off the first game you could with Griffin Herring. I think they got more options this year, and certainly in the non-conference, you do have more options because LSU is just way more talented than every team they're going to play over the next 4 weeks. That includes the teams that they see in Frisco. So I want to see how Jay Johnson uses his bullpen guys. The odds are, you never know, but the odds are that you're going to see some lopsided games this weekend, and we won't be able to take a lot from those bullpen decisions. But there is certainly the opportunity to have a close game here and there, especially like today. The wind's blowing in today. The wind's supposed to blow in pretty hard on Sunday. Those can create really close games. Tomorrow, the wind's supposed to be howling out of the south. So we'll see. But I'm curious to see how LSU kind of deploys those bullpen arms. On Fridays, we're brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Always a pleasure to tell you about my friends over at Corks. You can check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. If you're tailgating at the box all spring long and you need to feed a lot of people, Corks is happy to do it. What's better than a big old tray of crispy fried catfish or an awesome jumbo shrimp or a po' boy? What's better than those crispy shoestring fries as well? It's all there at Corks, and they're happy to help you. Or maybe you're trying to go get some lunch. Go see them today, Government between Foster and Jefferson. It's my friends at Corks. See them online at corksfishandshrimp.com. We still got to hear from Kramer Robertson. We got to hear from Antoine Duplantis. We got to hear from Alex Milazzo. Preston Guy's going to join us in the second hour. We're going to get the lineup here coming up, and I'll give you a good idea of what I think it means. All that's coming up. We're out here at Alec Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field. If you're coming out to the box, which I think it has stopped raining, Bo, give me a thumbs up on that. It looks like it has stopped raining. We got about an 8-minute shower there, but it is slowed down. If you're coming out to the box, come see us. We're just behind home plate, a little bit down the third base side. If you're at work, just lock us in. We'll get you to first pitch, and I know where you're headed from that point forward. So thanks for hanging out with us on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com is the website. Every car that is on the lot is online at genesisofbatonrouge.com. When you think Genesis, think luxury. When you think luxury, don't think, well, I can't afford that. How do you know? Genesis model is to have a luxury experience, a luxury vehicle at a reasonable price. Get on by and see them, airline at Piku, chat with one of their brand ambassadors, and just see. You might be surprised. They've got every single make and model that you could want there. Goes from the sedan all the way up to the SUV. And they're luxury vehicles, and they come with some great, great deals. You're talking about 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Talking about 3 years of complimentary maintenance. All of it is at Genesis of Baton Rouge. Start that process today at genesisofbatonrouge.com or go see them at Airline at Piku. Genesis of Baton Rouge.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Something that makes me very happy is just looking just over to my left and seeing 7 national championship flags flying in the wind. That makes me very happy. I was talking to our producer, Bo Wegman, who's on site here and helps us get all this stuff set up. And I said, you know, I could drive 5 hours over to College Station. I wouldn't see one of those flags, would I? Now, they all think they're getting one in 4 months, and that certainly remains to be seen. But it's a nice feeling, and there's a reason why there are so many people that are filing into the ballpark today, and it's because we've had a pretty good run here in baseball over the last 30 years, and it's exemplified right there in Championship Plaza. So as you come in today to the box, you'll see it. We're out here at Fan Fest. If you're coming out to the box and you got some kiddos, there's huge inflatables. They can go down the big old slides. I think I see some gumbo over there from the folks at Amanda. See a tent for a number of different places around here. In the National L Club tent, it's just about 30 yards over to my left as I'm looking away from Alex Box Stadium. That's where you can find Kramer Robertson, Antoine Duplantis, and Alex Milazzo. They're signing a bunch of autographs. Those are some pretty good players. There you got an All-American who was an inning away from a game away from a national championship. You've got the all-time hits leader and then a 2023 national champ in Alex Milazzo. So just a cool scene out here outside Alex Box, and we certainly appreciate LSU for making it possible for us to be here today. I just saw Doug Thompson walk in, and I just saw Lynn Rollins walk in. So however you're consuming the game, whether it's on the SEC Network Plus or it's on Eagle 98.1 or wherever you're listening to the LSU Sports Radio Network, your voice is here, and there are a lot of folks that are filing in. I will be in that number here in about an hour and a half, and I'll have a story up after every single game called Palmer Post Game on LouisianaSports.net. I've got a series snapshot that's up there at LouisianaSports.net right now if you want to check that out. I haven't talked to any about Purdue-Fort Wayne, and I promise you I'm not going to talk a lot about Purdue-Fort Wayne because Purdue-Fort Wayne is not really worth talking about. But you're talking about a team that wasn't good last year. They were 19-37 overall, and it shouldn't come as any surprise that they've overhauled most of the team, whether that's because guys graduated or transferred out or were forced out or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of turnover pretty much everywhere in college baseball these days, and Purdue-Fort Wayne has certainly had that. The one bat that returns who is a good player is Justin Osterhaus. He is a true freshman last year, hit .355 in 38 games, and he hit 9 home runs. You extrapolate that out for another 15 or 18 if you'd have played all 56. You're talking about a guy who's a .350 hitter that would have hit 12, 14 home runs. That's quality stuff. They don't have anybody returning on the roster that hit over .250 with more than 1 home run. They've only got one guy returning on the roster who hit over .250. He hit .281. That's Camden Karczewski, and he hit 1 homer. So it's not a good team offensively. They've lost their 4 of their top 5 hitters. And then as far as the guys who started a bunch of their games last year, the guys who took the lion's share of their starts have moved on. So it's an overhauled team. I'm not here to break down Purdue-Fort Wayne at all, but I feel like I actually got asked about them a couple times as I was setting up for the show today. Like, what is this team? Is this team any good? And I was like, well, no, they're not. So we're not going to spend much time on them at all. The Mastodons are probably in for a three-game sweep this weekend, I would have to say. So that's all on Purdue-Fort Wayne. It's now our pleasure. Well, I thought it was going to be Kramer, but he took a turn to go talk to one of the workers, which is admirable of Kramer to go do that. Now he's going to sit down with us here and have a little bit of a conversation. Come on, Kramer. Have a seat, bud. Here he comes. So grab a seat. Bo, you got the headset ready to rock? Now he does. We're joined now by Kramer Robertson, All-American here at LSU.
Live?
We are live right now on the air, so grab a headset. It's opening day. You're back here at the box. Stirring emotions for you?
I'm not going to lie. This is really hard for me.
Yeah.
This is my first opening day that I've really been a part of since I left.
Yeah.
And so I've never really gotten to experience what opening day is outside of the stadium. This is unbelievable. This is so much fun.
It's going to be a blast to get in there, and we've got good enough weather for the time being. I know y'all have been over there signing some things. I mean, it's been an incredible crowd. You, Antoine, and Milazzo over there. Is that what it sounds like?
Yeah, I'm surrounded by the all-time hits leader and a national champion, so I'm sure I'm the third option over there.
I don't know about that. You were real close to a national championship. I wanted to ask you this question. I knew you were going to come on. And I feel like it's one that your answer could go any direction. I do pre- and post-game with Brandon Taylor for football, and he was on the team in 2011 for football that went 13-0, got to the national championship game, and came up short. And he felt like when the Joe Burrow team in 19 beat Alabama and got it done, like he personally felt some relief. I kind of thought I thought that was interesting from afar. When they got it done in 23 against the same team that beat y'all, any of that for you at all, or it still just stinks?
Ah, dude, that's crazy you brought that up. I mean, Milazzo and I 10 minutes ago were literally just talking about that. Milazzo, after they won the national championship, he said he had a 15-minute conversation with my mom.
Okay.
Which I'd never heard about.
Okay.
And they were talking about how, they felt a lot of responsibility to, finish the job that we were unable to do in 2017. So, absolutely, when they won, it felt like a sense of closure and relief a bit, like we could close that chapter. But, no, definitely still something that everybody on that 17 team still lives with. But no doubt, it definitely gives you some closure and makes you feel a lot better, especially because it was Florida that they beat and they were able to win the national championship.
How'd you feel when you knew y'all had to beat Oregon State twice? I think they were 56-4 at that point. What was the mood of the team?
Let's do it. That's what that team was. It didn't matter what time, what day, what time of the day, what ballpark. We felt like we could beat anybody that year, and that's what made that team so special. But, yeah, it was a daunting task to go against Adley Rutschman and
Stephen Kwan,
Nick Madrigal. I mean, you name it down the list. That's the best team I've ever played against, but also that 17 team was the best team I'd ever played on. So that was daunting, but we were able to do it. Just great memories, and getting to talk to everybody out here, and they bring it up. You forget sometimes how much it means to so many people and how big this program is. So I'm sad, and it's hard to not be playing, but at the same time, like, to still be a part of this fraternity and see so many people out here that will always recognize you. It's just, you'll always be a part of this, and it's something special. You can't get this anywhere else. There's no place like Baton Rouge for LSU baseball.
I mean, you realize, like, Texas A&M has come up short twice in the last 3 years, and the guys that just came up short are legends there. You came to a place where, as you look up above us, there's 7 flags up there. But that, I don't think, should diminish at all the run that you guys went on. I mean, that was just a blast from afar to watch. And I would imagine there's got to be some are you able to look back at it now and go, man, that was really special? I know we were 1 game short, but it was an incredible run.
Yeah, I can look back and say how special it was, because it was. And I think that, there's a reason why the 2017 team is probably the only team that I've really heard, and maybe it's because I'm on it and people talk to me about it, but it's one of the few teams I feel like in LSU baseball history that you still talk about, that people still bring up, because it was just such a memorable team. You had Alex Lang, you had so many, Cole Freeman, Antoine Duplantis, so many people that had such big personalities, but we were all so close and so tightly knit that, I mean, it's still really, really hard on all of us, but there's a reason why people still talk about that team. Even if you talk to Coach Maneri before, he left for South Carolina, he still talk about his national championship team, but the 2017, 2013 team, there's certain teams that transcend, the locker room, that just are special, and that was one of them.
It certainly was, and it was awesome to watch. We're chatting with Kramer Robertson, former LSU All-American here. You mentioned your first opening day here, because your first opening day not playing. How's that for you?
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's hard, especially now that, my baseball career is finishing up, now working at LSU. But it's hard, but it's also really, really cool to experience this, and it means so much more now to me than it ever has when people come up to me and tell me how much they appreciate a certain memory or a certain game, because when you're playing, you appreciate it, but to another level now that you're finished, because you see how much, your play could have meant to somebody, or your team could have meant to these fans. So it means even more now when these fans come up and talk to you, and I'm just so appreciative of my time and to have ever gotten to wear the purple and gold, because it truly is unlike any place ever.
I don't talk to a lot of people that have homered off Clayton Kershaw, so tell me what that's about. It just doesn't happen every day. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it actually is. And this sounds crazy, but for my swing, it actually was a good matchup, and I knew it was a lefty with the type of fastball that I hit well. And so I was looking for one pitch in one location, and I remember to this day I was watching Bregman's at bats against him, because I knew that the same type of fastball that Alex liked to hit was the same type of fastball I liked to hit. And Bregman hit a homer against him in the World Series. So I was like, I'm watching that at bat. I guessed right, and he threw me a fastball in my honey hole, and I got him. It just was one of those moments, baseball, you can get anybody. You can get a Hall of Fame pitcher. Now, when I got to pro baseball, I got to face DeGrom and Scherzer in 4 at-bats 2 times each, which I think were my 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th at-bats of spring training. That was a little more humbling than the midseason homer off Kershaw.
Yeah, those guys are pretty talented.
I mean, I remember it was DeGrom, and I ironically got to play with him later that season when I was sent to the Mets, and I got called up for his debut, and I was talking to him about it. I was like, dude, I'm hitting in the 9 hole. It's my 6th or 7th at bat of spring training, and you rattle off like 19 out of 20 straight fastballs at, I don't know, you're 102, 103. Yeah. I get up there, and he goes slider, slider, slider. I don't see the fastball in the one fastball out of the zone, show me fastball, and throws me 3 sliders and makes me look like I've never swung a bat before. And I'm like, dude, you're one of the greatest pitchers of all time, and you got this kid trying to make the team in the 9 hole. and you're just breaking them off with sliders. Like, yeah, dude, we're just trying stuff out there.
Just trying stuff
we're just
out
trying
there.
Stuff. You were just the victim that day.
Tell everybody what you're up to these days. I know you're back here in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, so I just accepted a job with the LSU athletic department. Had some opportunities to keep playing baseball. I finished my contract with St. Louis, but just nothing that I felt was worth continuing that grind and what it was. And this opportunity that I had here was something that was going to be difficult to turn down. And I get to be back home in Baton Rouge and around all the people that I love, and I get to stay in sports. So I love the people I work with. I love going up there, and it's really helped me get back into a routine. And when you lose baseball, man, you've been chasing it for 2.5 decades. So you go through a period of trying to find yourself and what you want to do and who are you without baseball. So I've been working on that. I have a lot of good people in my corner, and I'm really thankful to be back at LSU and hopefully helping with the success of all the sports now.
There's a lot of success going on this campus. Your mom's part of that. How are we feeling about her team right now? Big one on Sunday.
Big one on Sunday, but again, regular season.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do. It's not the end of the world if you win, and I mean it's not the end of the world if you lose. And if you win, guarantees you nothing. So stay even keel regardless, and just stay where they're at. She knows what she's doing. She's done it for so long.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she knows she'll have them exactly where they want to be. But again, win or lose Sunday, it doesn't make or break your season. What matters is when you get to March, and just like baseball, when you get to the postseason, you got to be playing well at the right time, and you got to be lucky. I don't care how good your coach is. I don't care how good your team is. You have to be lucky, and you have to stay healthy. So we'll see.
He's Kramer Robertson, man. Congratulations on an incredible run on the field. Welcome home off the field, and enjoy this, man. We appreciate some time.
Thank you guys for having me.
That's Kramer Robertson, former All-American here at LSU. We got to take a timeout. One segment to go in the top of the hour. Come back with us on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website. Look, insurance not the most fun topic in the world. I get it. I know it. I worked it 7 years. But you need to have an experienced broker and a quality broker in your corner. If you're one of these business owners that has chosen in the past to say, hey, what's the cheapest insurance I can get? Give me that. It's one way to do it for sure, and it looks good on the bottom line. But when something happens, you're going to want to know that you're protected. And you don't want to start flipping through that policy after that and go, oh, well, let's see. I hope so. Car wrecks happen. Hurricanes happen. Lawsuits happen. You want to have a broker in your corner that's got multiple markets that can place your commercial insurance in the right place to make sure that you're protected so you can keep churning along in the event that something happens out of the site that you are looking at. Highland Insurance Group can make it happen. Check them out online, HighlandIG.com. HighlandIG.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you. Serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances.
To the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Opening day at the Box, and we got a starting lineup. If you're headed out here to watch the Tigers in Purdue-Fort Wayne, this is the way LSU will line it up. Chris Stanfield is going to lead off. He is in center field. I got that one right in my prediction preview. Derek Curiel is going to play left field and hit second. I had him down in the 6 hole in my preview. This kid's a star. He's right there in front of Jared Jones in the 2 hole, and I like him there. I like them having to challenge Derek Curiel because you don't want to mess around with Bear Jones, who will be playing first base and hitting third. In the cleanup spot, we wondered who will be backing up Bear Jones. Who's going to be the protection for the most feared power hitter in the Southeastern Conference? Josh Pearson, the designated hitter, will get that honor today. I've said this a million times. Jay Johnson said it more than me. Jay Johnson and his staff trust Josh Pearson to give a quality at bat. Josh Pearson this year is probably not going to hit 365 with 14 home runs. Just probably not. He's probably going to hit 270. But they trust him to give a quality at bat against left-handed and right-handed pitching, and he can run out of the yard at times, and he's had some monster at bats. So Josh Pearson will hit cleanup in the designated hitter spot. In the 5 hole, Daniel Dickinson, the second baseman, transfer from Utah Valley. Curious to see how he responds to hitting in the middle of the order. Jake Brown is the right fielder. He will hit in the 6 hole. Luis Hernandez is the catcher. He'll hit 7th. Stephen Milam, the shortstop, will bat 8th. If you watched Stephen Milam at the end of last year and thought, well, man, that's a pretty good 8-hole hitter. That is a pretty good 8-hole hitter. He's going to play shortstop as a switch hitter down in the 8 hole, and Michael Braswell will hit 9th. Michael Braswell's on-base percentage last year was .411. He got on base at a 40% clip in league play last year. He's in the 9 hole in front of Chris Stanfield. So if you read my prediction preview or listened to it online, lineup preview and prediction, if you read it on LouisianaSports.net or watched me give that out earlier this week, I got the 9 guys right. I did not get them in the proper order. It'll be Stanfield, Curiel, Jones, Pearson, Dickinson, Brown, Hernandez, Milam, and Braswell. And they will be back there behind Cade Anderson on the mound. Some things that stand out here. Stanfield is the leadoff guy. They feel good about that. If he can take, he was a B- hitter last year in SEC play. If he becomes a B+ hitter in SEC play, that's a really good fire starter at the top of the lineup. I think Curiel and Jones are stars. That's 2 and 3 in the lineup. Then you got Pearson, who they trust there, and then you've got, I think, a group of 3 hitters that have a massive variance to what they could be and what they could not be. And that's Daniel Dickinson at second, Jake Brown in right, and Luis Hernandez. That is 5, 6, 7 in this lineup. And if you told me Daniel Dickinson was going to be a 340 hitter who hit 14 home runs, I would believe that, and he went in the second round of the draft. If you told me he did not have a very good year because he did not adjust to the pitching at this level, I would believe that too. There's a huge variance to what he could be, so he'll be there in the 5 hole behind Pearson. Jake Brown in right field, he was 3 for 21 in league play last year. 3 for 21. That's got to improve, and we think it will. We think he's going to make a big step, but that's got to happen. He's in the 6 hole. And Luis Hernandez. You're talking about a guy who hit 23 home runs last year at Indiana State. Now, he didn't catch last year, and he is catching today. That takes it out of you. And I don't think he's going to hit 23 home runs at LSU. If he hit 15, I'd be thrilled. Thrilled if he hit 15 home runs. But more importantly, as I talked about at the top of the show, I need to see him play good defense at catcher. And so that's a big deal. But those three guys have a lot of variance to what they could be. And then your 8 and 9 holes are Milam and Braswell. And to me, that's pretty high floor stuff. Those guys are going to be high on base guys. They're going to hit a lot of singles. They're going to hit some doubles. They're not going to be huge power guys, though I think Milam does have some pop in his bat. But the variance here comes at 5, 6, 7 with Dickinson, Brown, and Hernandez. You're looking at right, left, right. I'll give you how this plays against a right-handed pitcher. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So the only back-to-back guys that will hit from the same side of the plate will be Braswell in the 9-hole and Stanfield at the leadoff spot. So Jay has layered this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, as you figure he might do. So it's a balanced lineup. It looks to be a lineup with a high ceiling. We'll see. This is the first time we'll get a look at them, and I'm excited to do so coming up here in an hour and 5 minutes. We're still outside Alex Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field. We got a ton to do in hour number 2. My hope is that we can talk to Alex Milazzo at the top of the hour, perhaps Antoine Duplantis. We will talk some football with Preston Guy coming up in 20 minutes from right now. That's our normal Friday slot, and we'll go ahead and do that as well. But we're out here at the box, and we're getting ready for opening day. Hope you were doing it as well. If you missed any of the first hour, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Had Kramer Robertson, had Jamie Tutco. It's all there on demand. We'll pause for Sports Center and come back with more on a Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile. on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Parish Construction and Roofing. This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs. From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
From Studio One on the campus of the worldwide headquarters of ESPN. And from Studio Q.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour number 2, Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show from outside Alec Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field. It's opening day, LSU and Purdue Fort Wayne. It was a fast-moving first hour. Had Jamie Tutco, LSU's Director of Player Development, had Kramer Robertson, got the opening lineup. So lots and lots going on in that first hour. If you missed it, you can always catch it on demand. Hour 2 is going to be fun as well. Preston Guy in 15 minutes talking a little bit of football. We will see if Antoine Duplantis and or Alex Milazzo can shake free. I just walked over there, candidly. They got a lot of autographs to sign, so we'll see if that happens. But that's a good thing. I want them to have a lot of autographs to sign. They earned that certainly in their playing days on the field, and there's a lot of folks here that are excited to see them and are excited to watch some baseball. So if they come over here, I'll be excited. If not, we can power through an hour here without them. We had Kramer in the last hour again, so we appreciate that appreciate him for making a little time for us here. We're just outside Alec Box Stadium on the first base line, right next to the ticket windows. It's Fan Fest here, and there are a ton of folks that are hanging out. If you're coming out to the box, going to be a few minutes early, go see Fan Fest. It's cool. They got some really cool things for the kiddos to do. They can take some batting practice. There's a huge inflatable slide they can go down as well. Plus, there's some food and drinks around here. So tons to do out here at the box, and we're excited to go in there and watch the 2025 Tigers for the first time. I got some questions in the Bayou Ford chat that I'll get to here as we ease into hour number 1. Hunt, do you expect any mound time for Jake Brown and Dalton Beck this season? I do expect mound time for Dalton Beck, which I did not know he pitched until the fall. Dalton Beck came to LSU, and when I looked at his numbers from Incarnate Word, he was the newcomer of the year in the Southland Conference. He hit well over 350. He hit nearly 20 home runs from the left side as a power corner outfield bat, and I thought that's what they brought him here to do. And I think he is going to get some at-bats in February and March as well. But he has shown the ability to pitch a little bit in the fall. And if you look at LSU's pitching staff as it's constructed, Cade Anderson's left-handed. Well, he's going to pitch on Friday nights as of right now. That's not a lot of help to the rest of the weekend. You're pretty much toast after you've pitched on Friday night. And then you've got a couple of other guys that they hope they can lean on for some outs. You feel like DJ Primo is one of the guys who could be in long relief. Connor Ware is a stopper. And then you're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel with left-handers when you look at Cooper Williams and Dalton Beck. And I don't mean that as a slight to those two guys. Dalton Beck came here as a hitter, and Cooper Williams is a freshman. So it's not those guys can't pitch. It's just that they don't have the profile of some of LSU's some of LSU's pitchers coming in. So I think they look at Beck and they go, okay, we got Primo. Okay, we got Ware. Okay, Cooper Williams is a good pitcher, but what else we got left-handed? And I think that Dalton Beck kind of fills a need there as a guy that they might be able to lean on a little bit. And I watched him twice in the preseason, and he's got a pretty good breaking ball, and he throws 90 miles an hour. So, yes, you will see Dalton Beck throw it a little bit. I do not expect to see Jake Brown at all on the mound. I think Jake Brown has made the transition to a hitter, and an outfielder. Just in the same way that Gavin Guidry in his first fall at LSU made the transition from an infielder to a pitcher and has never looked back. That's what you're looking at here. And so I think that everybody's okay with that. I think this, and this is a hard thing, but it's something that Jay is transparent about in recruiting, and it's something that he is insistent upon when he does media obligations and speaking arrangements around the city. Like, guys that come to LSU know they've come to LSU, and they know that playing time's hard to come by, and not everybody's going to get it all. Like, when Dylan Cruz shows up, yep, he going to play. When Paul Skeens shows up, yep, he gonna start on Friday. But if you listen to Will Helmers on Matt's show earlier this week, or you read my piece on LouisianaSports.net, like, he knew that his role was to come in there and pitch when needed, but to be a good team guy. And that's what he wants to do. And by all accounts, Jake Brown and Gavin Guidry are kind of like the two guys who exemplify that the most on this team. They're Louisiana guys. They want to play for LSU. Did they envision maybe a different role? Maybe 2 years ago, but they kind of know where they are right now. And I think Dalton Beck would go into that. He's not a Louisiana kid, but he understands, like, he's not going to start in the outfield very much. He may get a couple pinch hitting opportunities here or there, but maybe he can help on the mound. And I do believe that a lot of guys that come to LSU to play baseball understand that they have a chance to win a national championship. There aren't that many teams that can say that, especially not in this era of the transfer portal and NIL where the SEC just reigns supreme. And the SEC just went up to Omaha and just absolutely annihilated everybody last year. And that happened the year before that, too. You saw Tennessee and A&M in the final this year. You saw LSU and Florida up before that. You saw Ole Miss against a non-SEC team but win. And then you saw Mississippi State and Vanderbilt the year before that. You're looking at, in the terms of the last 4 College World Series, 7 of the 8 finals have been SEC teams. This is where all the players are. This is where all the money is. Not everybody can start. So it's sometimes about taking your role and what you can do. And I think most guys are okay with that. There's one that left that was not. He's in the league now, plays catcher. But most guys at LSU understand what their role is. And so I think those two guys are okay with that. Also got a question, said who is going to be the weekday starters this week since LSU plays Tuesday or Wednesday. I have changed my tune over the last 2 years on midweek starters. In theory, I would love to have a 4th starter that throws 6 innings on Tuesday and is a quality pitcher that in the event that I'm in a regional and have to go out of the loser's bracket, or I get in Omaha and I got to play 4 times in 4 days, I've got someone that I can turn to that's not what they asked Nate Ackenhausen to do or had Javen Coleman in that spot a couple of years ago. In theory, that sounds great to have 4 guys that are midweek that are starting pitchers. Your Friday guy, Saturday guy, Sunday guy, midweek starter. Sounds awesome. Truth be told, LSU rarely has 3 weekend starters. You got to go back to Poche, Lang, and Walker in 2017 to even get there. But the last time LSU had 3 starters. And that's asking me to get another one. And then you have to determine that he's good enough to be the midweek starter and go 6 and 7 innings against Lamar and Tulane and Southeastern, but he's not good enough to help you on the weekend, because if you got to start on Tuesday, you can't pitch on Saturday or Sunday, and if you go 7 innings on Tuesday, you're not coming back on the weekend. So that's just the nature of this sport and the schedule. You're going to see all the good teams just get a lot of guys work in the midweek. So I feel confident saying that the starter on Tuesday, and this is, again, based on who pitches later this weekend, but it's probably going to be one of those guys they stretched out. It's probably going to be Gavin Guidry or William Schmidt. It's probably going to be I don't think it's going to be Connor Ware, because I think he's going to pitch this weekend. I think that's probably the likelihood, and you'll probably see 5 pitchers on Tuesday and Wednesday. And they'll use whoever's available on Wednesday. It's not realistic to find a 4th starter in college baseball, because that would signify that he's good enough to pitch on long range on Tuesday but not good enough to help you on the weekend. It's just not necessarily something that's gonna present itself very often. Got a uniform czar. What's your all-time favorite uniform combo? I think I'm the only person that has this take, and you can call it a terrible take. I'm okay with that, because I don't know anyone who agrees with me. I like when LSU wears the grays. The grays with I liked it when they wore the interlocking grays in like the 2013, 14, 15 era, like the Aaron Nola, Alex Bregman era. Now they have the Tigers on the grays, which I don't think looks as good as the interlocking LSU right there on the chest. But I like grays. I think it's classic baseball, and I love it. If I had to rank LSU's usual uniforms, I would go grays first, white second, pinstripes third, purple fourth, gold fifth. That is blasphemy to 90% of y'all who adore the golds. And look, I don't hate the golds at all. I like the golds. But to me, gold is a better accent than it is a primary color. And I think the purple uniform looks better. I have another take that y'all are going to find awful in uniform perspective. I didn't expect to get into uniforms today, but here we are. I liked when LSU used to wear the purple jerseys and white hats. I thought that looked good with the purple bill. I like more traditional baseball stuff, and I don't like when LSU wears gold jerseys with white pants on the road. I don't think you should wear white pants on the road, but gold doesn't look great with gray. It's a whole thing, okay? But you asked me the question, I gave you the answer. It just is what it is with my uniform takes, and none of them are right or wrong. They're just my opinion. It is what it is. But you asked, you got it. Shane LeBlanc says Hunt does not have too much luck with guests when he's on site. Look, last week was a freaking madhouse at the Super Bowl. I get it. And today, I'm well aware of what's going on. Kramer was good enough to give us a little bit of time, and I certainly appreciated that. Those guys are drowning in autographs over there, and that's good. It's way more important that they sign autographs for the awesome fans that are here at the ball game than come over and chat with me for 10 minutes about some things that happened 5 or 8 years ago. I thought the interview with Kramer went great. I thought he was gracious. It's always an interesting thing when a player decides their playing days are over, and that time comes for every player, but you just never know when it's going to come and in what form or fashion, and that's tough for a guy that's fought and grinded, as he said, for 25 years to make it to the big leagues. And he played 2 games, but he wasn't necessarily never made it up for like a whole season, and that's tough. But he was a great player at LSU. He had a great career in the minor leagues and was right there knocking on the doorstep for a number of years with the Cardinals organization. But now he's back at LSU working in the name, image, and likeness department and hanging out with Mom, and I think that's a pretty good spot for him, and we appreciated a little bit of his time earlier on today. Our Friday shows are brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. We are going to step aside. Let's talk a little bit of football, and then we'll do the last 30 minutes on baseball. Preston Guy, TigerBait.com, is going to join us when we come back. This is The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac. Our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Get on by for a late lunch. Tailgating at the box this weekend. Dinner this weekend, feeding the office, crispy fried catfish, jumbo Gulf shrimp, and best po' boy in town over at Corks. Check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. Usually, when we talk to Preston Guy on Fridays, we are just pushing off the dock. Well, we're like almost done, and quite frankly, I'm ready to go watch some baseball anyway. So let's talk to Preston Guy right now about some football here as we're in the second hour of the Hunt Palmer Show. Preston joined us on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. How are we doing, Preston? I cannot hear Preston if we have him back, so if there's a button we need to push, let me know. But I do not hear him if we have him. But there are some things I want to talk to Preston about here, namely a couple of additions to the staff, as well as the Juwan Johnson situation, which I talked about yesterday. Bo's going to get Preston all dialed up here on site, so we'll talk to him in a second. He may be on the air when he answers the phone, so that'll be an adventure in itself. But again, I talked about Juwan Johnson yesterday and my thoughts on it. If this is about a package, I'm all about it. If they don't think he can help at safety or running back and they need another body there, fine. If he can help at safety and or running back and they're making him the fourth-string quarterback, I don't think that's a great thing for a team that has championship aspirations. That's my thoughts on it. We'll get Preston's thoughts on it here. Preston Guy at TigerBait.com now joins us in the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Preston, how are we doing?
Hunt, how's it going, man? Thank you for letting me invade your space of baseball opening day. I know today is a sacred holiday for you. It is not Valentine's Day. It is opening day. So hopefully you're feeling good about the team this year.
I feel good about the team. And honestly, I'm not really concerned about your feelings on Valentine's Day versus opening day. I'm more concerned with my wife's. And she was good with me going to the baseball game as long as I can pick up sushi on the way home, which I said we can make that happen. So as long as she's happy, I'm happy at the box. And you're happy if we talk about some football. So let's go ahead and do that. I said my piece about Juwan Johnson yesterday, and I gave a lot of caveats because for all I know, some intern just input the position wrong on the website. But the website does say that Juwan Johnson is listed as a quarterback. Your thoughts on the whole situation?
Well, I mean, you've got Garrett Nussmeier, who's your veteran stud starter. You know he's there. You've got the Michael Van Buren from Mississippi State coming in, right? And who else is really – you didn't sign a freshman quarterback. Ricky Collins hit the portal. So were you going to roll into spring ball with 2 quarterbacks? To me, this screams like, yeah, we needed to have another quarterback there because we don't know if Colin Hurley's going to be there for spring or not. So let's go into spring ball with the preparation that Juwan Johnson is going to be a quarterback for us and have to run our offenses. And hopefully he gets another skill set. I do have some concern about long term and his development. Like, okay, if he's going to be a running back for you, is he truly honing his running back skills? And he needs reps because he played quarterback in high school. Of course, he's the LHSAA all-time leader in total yardage playing quarterback for LCA. But, is he going to be able to learn the position well if you keep on bouncing him around? You started him at DB, and now you're bouncing him out to running back, and then, quarterback now for spring. If this is just a spring ball move, are you hindering his development by moving him around to so many positions? That's my concern with it, if it is just a short-term move. But you certainly understand why you would want more than 2 quarterbacks for spring football.
Yeah, I guess my point was, I think it's unlikely that Juwan Johnson can help the team at quarterback. If Holland Hurley doesn't come back and Garrett Nussmeier and Michael Van Buren both get hurt, I think your team is toast. Like, I realize that that's not like a popular thing to say and that you would never hear a coach say that. But if you think he can help at star or running back, like, get him reps there and just realize that if you get one quarterback gets in a car accident and come back and the other 2 get hurt, well, sorry, we tried.
Well, Hunt, I hear what you're saying. It is a really bad situation.
Yeah.
If you have to roll out with Juwan Johnson. Like, it's not – you're not competing for a championship with Juwan Johnson rolling out to their quarterback. I get where you're coming from. That being said, I mean, you really do need – you're thin there.
You are, no question.
Someone rolling. I mean, are you just going to what was the bowl – are you going to John Trey Kirkland this thing?
Well, I think, look, there's another transfer portal window where I feel like you could probably get someone who can function. I don't know what the walk-ons do. I mean, how many times have we seen some terrible situation on a Saturday where 2 quarterbacks go down and some walk-on goes out there and helps? And what is there a possibility here that Juwan Johnson is just working at running back and there's a package for him at quarterback? Like, maybe we're just there's a likelihood, I think, that I'm just reading too much into this.
Maybe. You also have to understand, I mean, they added the U-High quarterback, Emil Picarella, just recently. And he's more coveted than your typical walk-on. Let me ask you this, Hunt. Who would you feel better about winning a football game for you out there, Juwan Johnson or A.J. Swan?
Oh, A.J. Swan by a mile. A.J. Swan's.
I don't know about that.
A.J. Swan's played SEC quarterback before.
Not well,
but Juwan Johnson's literally never done it.
Well, that's true, but Juwan Johnson, I have no idea what A.J. Swan did in high school. I will bet you anything, AJ, that Juwan Johnson was a better high school quarterback than him. That being said, I mean, the dynamic ability to expand your offense, running the ball, rolling out. Look, if I have to bet on one of those guys winning a football game for me, I'm putting my money on Juwan Johnson every time over A.J. Swan, who's very limited and not a very talented passer. I mean, call me crazy, but I'll go with Juwan Johnson over A.J. Swan. And A.J. Swan was your second-string quarterback at the end of last year. So, when you start making those comparisons, at least for me, I'm like, makes sense.
Yeah. Let's talk about some staff additions. Big deal, little deal, no deal at all. Tim Rattay comes over. Lance Guidry comes over. They're big names because Rattay is a legend collegiately at Louisiana Tech, and Guidry is from here and has been a coordinator at a couple of stops, and it didn't go great at the end at Miami. But what are your thoughts on those 2 additions to the staff?
Well, first off, I think more so than either one of those guys individually, it's clear to me that they are looking to invest in their analyst staff. You remember under Ogeron for a while, that became like a big deal. We all talked about the Nick Saban coaching rehabilitation clinic, right? And it seems like that under Kelly, there were certainly some quality analysts that they've added, but it wasn't like a huge, robust lineup that we were beating on our chests with. So those guys, in addition to, I mean, they brought in Grambling special teams coordinator as a special teams assistant. Certainly seems like they're trying to stockpile up on a great number of very talented guys. I mean, think about it. Lance Guidry a year ago. I mean, we're talking about Miami's defensive coordinator, and now all of a sudden he's just an analyst for you. That's really good. Timber Tay, did you know Timber Tay threw for like 12,000 yards in college?
So I was a young kid in Shreveport, right down the road from Ruston. When Timber Tay and Troy Edwards were rolling up yards, yes, I was well aware of it. They were setting a lot of records in Ruston.
Yeah. So, and then we're talking about the familiarity with Joe Sloan.
Yeah.
They were on coaching staff together at Louisiana Tech, if you remember correctly. I think he was the quarterback coach under Joe Sloan, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, familiarity. We're talking about a former NFL and college star. I mean, look, these are great. We're talking about analysts here. We're not talking about your coordinator. These are big resumes just to add to your coaching staff to help it be analysts. I love what they're doing, not just with those two, just the overall body of the quality guys they're bringing in. I mean, look, I don't think Brian Kelly's playing around anymore. I think he's getting with the team and saying we have to invest in our coaching and we have to invest in our roster. We have to compete right now this year. Or he's probably toast if not, you know.
We'll see. Things look decent right now, but they got a lot of work to do. They continue to work on the recruiting trail. Bryson Martinez commits this week from right down the road at EA.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing a good job in the state, and it's a big haul. What are your thoughts on Bryson Martinez and how they've approached the state of Louisiana for 26?
Well, I love Bryson Martinez, and I was just watching his film the other day. When he committed, I made sure to go through and watch all his film. He is a hog in the trenches. I mean, he is a bulldozer. He is mowing over people. I think he needs to be polished a little bit in his pass blocking. Okay, his footwork's a little slow-footed. I think he looks more like a right tackle, even though he's playing left tackle. He looks like a collegiate right tackle to me right now, or maybe even guard. Although, shoot, at 6'6", you'd hope he doesn't have to play guard. But I think he needs to clean up his pass blocking a little bit. I have a lot of confidence in LSU in developing pass blockers. We've seen them develop. Brad Davis developed a few pretty good pass blockers. So I would rather take a guy who's a hog in run blocking and then see if you can develop him into a good pass blocker than the other way around, because they didn't run block very well last year. But anyway, huge kid, local kid. You love keeping these guys home, especially a top 100 national player. They continue to put a really heavy focus in state and at least start strong in state. Of course, it seems like the big name guys with NIL, a couple are you're starting to lose, but you know that's part of the business here. Is if you're going to get into a national bidding war over a local kid, if you want to keep the kid home, do you want to empty out your collective just to keep a local kid home? And thus far, the answer's been we'll pay, we'll take care of you what you're worth, but I'm not taking away enough money to get 3 other commitments just for one kid. So locally early on, they're good. Can they retain them? And can they keep away the overbidders in NIL?
Tell everybody what's going on at Tiger Bait. Spring football is not that far away.
No, it's not, man. It's starting next month, and we'll be doing our practice reports, and we'll be doing our post-spring game show. So you can see us on our YouTube channel. Keep up with regular content. Of course, we're also doing a women's basketball show that Mike hosts, and they're doing all their shows there. So you can definitely keep up with our channel and website. We're working on a bunch of recruiting pieces right now. I'm working on Booby Feaster, who's the DeSoto 5-star receiver. He reclassified from 27 to 26 today, meaning he's next at bat. So I'm trying to get a good story put together for him, and our staff, we're out grinding, getting all the 26 and 27 recruiting stories. We'll be pumping out a ton of updates during this off season. So y'all make sure to check out TigerBait.com and the YouTube channel.
If Booby Feaster's not on the all-name team, then they got to do away with the all-name team. That's just the way that
it's a nickname. I don't know if that counts. It's a
goes. All right, Preston, we appreciate we appreciate some time. Have a great weekend, man.
All right, see you soon, Hunt.
He's Preston Guy, LSU beat writer, TigerBait.com. He's with us every single Friday. We're getting close to first pitch, 32 minutes away from the first pitch of the ball game between LSU and Purdue Fort Wayne. Why don't I go ahead and give you my season prediction? Might as well do that. We'll do it when we come back. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com is the website. Look, I know a lot of folks don't love going to car dealerships when they purchase a vehicle. I get it. Sometimes that's not a pleasant experience. You feel like you're being swarmed. You feel like you're under pressure. You feel like you're being lied to or upsold. I get that. That's been the case for decades in the car business. But you're not going to have that experience at all at Genesis of Baton Rouge. You're going to be treated like a guest, not a customer, and they're just going to be there to help. They understand at Genesis of Baton Rouge that not everybody has been behind the wheel of a Genesis. It's not been around as long as some of the major car brands, but they're happy to teach you about it. They're happy to get you behind the wheel of a Genesis. They'll do it at the dealership, which is a gorgeous facility right there at Airline and Piku, or they'll come to you if that's better for you. They can come to your place of work. They can come to your home and have you test drive it with one of their brand ambassadors. You'll see the difference in driving a Genesis. It's got all the bells and whistles that you would like, sleek, stylish, comfortable, and you're talking about an affordable vehicle in a luxury line. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge, and you can find them all online at genesisofbatonrouge.com. genesisofbatonrouge.com.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we can.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Here at the box, LSU and Purdue Fort Wayne coming at you in about 27 minutes. I'm looking at the flags, national championship flags, I should add, here at Championship Plaza, and they are whipping in pretty good from the north. So good day to pitch, not necessarily a great day. Drive the ball out of the ballpark. Thought the weather would be pretty mild today as far as wind goes. Tomorrow, supposed to be whipping out of the south. And hopefully with that high temperatures, you can get the ball out of the ballpark tomorrow. Then Sunday, it's supposed to be blowing in really hard as the temperatures dip back down. But Sunday looks like a really sunny day as well. So hopefully we get all 3 games in without a hitch. It rained a little bit earlier here at the box, but not raining currently, although it's a little bit overcast. Should be good to start here in 25 minutes, but wind whipping in could be a tough day to hit, especially if the ball gets up in the air. Time to do my season predictions. As I sit here today, I could tell you they got Cade Anderson, who's ready to be a star. He's best pitcher on the staff. He's going to be an ace. Anthony Ianson, proven innings eater, guy that was a Team USA guy, legit number 2, who's going to miss a ton of bats. Chase Shores, elite talent on Sunday, throwing 100 miles an hour, going to give LSU a talent advantage every single Sunday out on the mound. Connor Ware and Gavin Guidry give you closers from both sides. Got Jared Jones, who could hit 30 home runs this year, and you're going to see Jake Brown take a big step up, and got 2 guys who can catch. Cade Arambiti's a young star, and Luis Hernandez is really taking to the position. And, man, Stephen Milam at shortstop's going to take another step this year. And Daniel Dickinson, another Team USA guy, is going to be a second-round pick. And I can sell you all this bill of goods that everything's going to be awesome. This team is just going to steamroll start to finish. But we know, as exciting as it is to get ready for opening day, it doesn't work out like that really ever. Some guys are going to perform, some guys are not. There's a guy or two that's not in the lineup today that's going to be a big piece in SEC play. The good news, I think, is that LSU has got a lot of options if there are some guys that falter here and there. I am not completely sold on the power on this team outside of Jones. I am a little concerned that nobody has SEC starting experience in the rotation. And I'm a little concerned with the defense at catcher and what Milam does at shortstop with an average arm. Like, I do have some concerns. So I don't think this is the best team in the country. This does not look like 2023 to me, certainly not with Paul Skeens at the front of the rotation. Do I think LSU's good? I do. But I don't think that this is right now a top 3 or 4 roster in college baseball. Now, they're ranked 2 or 3 just about anywhere you look, but A&M's got more talent than LSU. And Virginia has some real high-end players this year. And you always know Arkansas is going to pitch it. And I kind of like Florida's position players a lot this year. So it's just going to be a grind. So I'm trying to be level-headed as we sit here in February. It's fun to go crazy and talk about how awesome we're going to be. But I'm trying to be fairly level-headed here in February and give you kind of my prediction on the way things go. I'm confident in Cade Anderson starting today. But I was confident in Caleb Gilbert. And that didn't go as well in 2018. But I'm confident in him. And I think that there's a chance that even if he falters, that Ianson or Shores or even Connor Ware could become a legit ace. I think they've got some options there. So I'm hopeful that that works out. I think LSU is going to play good defense in the outfield. And I think Jared Jones is a superstar that just needs somebody to show up and protect him. But, Josh Pearson's doing that today, and if you got a guy that hits 270 with 10 home runs behind him, which is kind of what Josh Pearson has shown himself to be, that's going to lend teams to spinning a lot of breaking balls away from Jared Jones and kind of staying away from him. Change-ups down, fastballs well away, and maybe he's not as impactful as he could be. There's a concern there as well. But if some things click for this team, which you certainly hope they do, they could be really, really good. And that's certainly everyone's hope here. We got 56 games to figure it out, and that is why this is my favorite sport. It's my favorite sport because LSU can start 3-12 in conference play. 3-12 in conference play, having been swept twice. And I can sit there realistically in Hoover and go, this team's got a chance. Like, this team's got a chance to make a run. And it was realistic. If Jump gets those last 3 outs in Chapel Hill, they come back here to play a super? Come on now. They got a shot with Holman and Jump the way they were throwing it. That's not the case in football. You got a bad 4 weeks in football, you probably fire the coach, much less win a national championship, okay? That's what my temperament is built for. I love this grind. I love the fact that if you lose today, you come back tomorrow. You win today, good, but we got to come back tomorrow. You need to try something here one day, try it out. Doesn't go well, try something else. Push different buttons. And, yeah, it's well documented. Last year, I gave up on him. At 3-12, I gave up on him. Said, I don't think it's going to get better. Haven't seen enough out of Jumpin' Holman. Nobody you can trust out of the bullpen, not swinging the bats the way they need to. You've got guys that are sophomores and Kling and Neal and Fry and the guys that you needed to step up and become stars, they're not. And only Jones stepped forward from that group. And I gave up, and they proved me wrong. And they just about got it done. So that's the beautiful thing about this sport. Today's fun. If they lose to Purdue Fort Wayne today, I'll be bummed leaving, but they're going to change my excitement level for tomorrow. This is what it is. So my prediction for this team is that they're solid. I predict they do not get swept in an SEC series because of that depth. I think that when you're top heavy and your top guy doesn't perform, top two guys don't perform, then you can falter. I don't think LSU's top heavy this year. They were top heavy last year. White and Jones trying to hit homers. You hadn't gotten Milam to break out yet or Larson to contribute yet. You had a bunch of guys that were hitting nothing. Jake Brown and Paxton Kling and Brady Neal, and those guys were not contributing offensively. And if you didn't have White or Jones for a certain day, you didn't have anything. I don't think that's the case with this team. I think they've got enough guys that can help. Hopefully they hit for some more pop. But I don't think they get swept. I think they're rock solid. I do think they lose more non-conference than they did last year. They went to conference play 16-2 last year. I think you could probably add another loss to that somewhere. But I've got LSU as a 38-18 team. I've got them losing 5 games in the non-conference, whether that's pre-conference or in the midweek, and I've got them 17-13 in the SEC. That to me will be good enough to host a regional here at the Box, and we'll see what that means after that round. I don't have them as a top 8 today, but I withhold the right to change that decision when we start conference play here in a month. But keep in mind, this is a program that last year was I mentioned 16-2 going into conference play, had swept through a Houston week that included Rice and the Minute Maid Classic, and then fell on their face. So what we won't learn everything in the first 4 weeks because you're playing teams you're better than. Once you really put your feet to the fire in the SEC is when you really learn. And starting with Missouri is a nice thing here at home this year as opposed to what LSU had to deal with last year where they played a murderer's row at Mississippi State, then home Florida, at Arkansas, home Vanderbilt, at Tennessee. I mean, it was a gauntlet, and LSU didn't respond to it. You start with Missouri this year, which should be a nice handshake opener for this team. But I'm confident with this team. I'm not blown away by this team like I was by the returning stars that they had in 2023. You had Cruz, you had Morgan, you had Thompson. Tommy White was going to come here and hit a bajillion homers. Beloso and Dugas kind of surprised, and that's the kind of thing that you've got to have. That's going to happen. Travinsky did a good job as well. But that's what you got to have. Some guys step forward. They don't have as much proven star power as they did at that point. Maybe some of it emerges. But give me 38-18 for this team, 17-13 in league play. I think they're a regional host, and I think absolutely they are a threat to get to Omaha and make a run. As I told y'all earlier this week, I'm booked for Omaha. That's the charge has already gone through. I got flights that are scheduled, and I got a hotel. So if they get there, I'll be there, and I know a lot of you will as well. So they get things started today. We'll give it to Kate Anderson. I'll give you the lineups one more time when we get back to the last segment, and we'll wrap up shop here from just outside Alex Box Stadium. It's opening day. We're brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Audio Video Security Solutions, avssla.com is the website. It's about to be outdoor season here in South Louisiana. The spring is a great time to spend some time in the backyard, at the outdoor kitchen. Pool season's around the corner. If you'd like to get some surround sound, maybe hang a television outside, improve your outdoor area, whether you got a pool house, or you just hang out in the backyard like the Palmers where the Myers man loves to play some baseball. They got us hooked up with a great sound system that I can manipulate from my phone. I listen to podcasts, I listen to tunes, and I can watch baseball games outside because of the work Mitchell Fisher and his team did at Audio Video Security Solutions. So if you're looking to improve your outdoor area with audio, with video, they can do it for you. Give Mitchell a call or check them out online at avssla.com. They're also on Instagram at avss_BR. Great resource, phenomenal local company, and they've been great to us in the Palmer House. So check them out online at avssla.com. That's Audio Video Security Solutions.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Rouse's Supermarkets.
.1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank and Trust want to help cover your car payments. It's a $5,000 grand prize with a bonus chance to win free car washes from Benny's Car Wash for 6 months. We're also letting you earn extra entries by subscribing to our LouisianaSports.net daily newsletter. To sign up, visit 1045ESPN.com.
As they say, some days at the office better than others. Today, good day at the office. Been out here in the fan zone for LSU and Purdue Fort Wayne at Alex Box Stadium. 7 national championship flags flying just to my left. A lot of folks in purple and gold have already filed into the box. Should be just about a full house as the weather's cooperated for the time being. And we're going to enjoy a little bit of baseball here today and for the next 4 months straight. LSU plays more than they don't play from now for the next 4 months in terms of days of the week. You're always going to play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You throw in some Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and really your only off days are Mondays and Thursdays. It's a good gig, and we're fired up to be here, and hopefully it's another great season for Jay Johnson's club, which we all certainly hope that it is. If you missed the lineup a little bit earlier today, I know a lot of folks just knocking off of work as we get closer to 2 o'clock here on a Friday, and LSU will hit Chris Stanfield in the leadoff spot. He'll play center field. Derek Curiel going to be a star. He is in left field in the 2-hole. Jared Jones will play first base. He is the 3-hole hitter. Josh Pearson will add some protection there for him. He's the designated hitter. Daniel Dickinson will be in the 5-hole playing second base. Jake Brown will play right field, and he will hit 7th. Sixth, beg your pardon. Luis Hernandez will hit 7th. He's the catcher. Stephen Milam will hit 8th. He is the shortstop, and the third baseman's Michael Braswell. He is in the 9-hole. I got the 9 names right for those guys, but did not necessarily get them in the correct order. would have to been a really wise person to have gotten that exactly right, and we all know that that's not necessarily the case. But I like the way the lineup looks. I like Stanfield's on-base ability and speed at the top. I love Curiel hitting in front of Jones. Pearson is going to give you a tough at-bat behind Jones. We'll see how that goes. And then I talked about this at the bottom of the first hour. That 5, 6, 7 slot in the order, Dickinson, Brown, Hernandez, provides so much ceiling and a little bit of a low floor because we don't know if Dickinson or Hernandez can adjust to this level. And Jake Brown didn't hit last year in league play, but they're all very talented. Dickinson, we know the talent. Brown, we think the talent. And then Hernandez was productive last year with 23 home runs at Indiana State. So if those guys are good, LSU's lineup gets really long really quickly. If they're not, all of a sudden you're kind of limited. So I do like Braswell in the 9-hole and Milam right in front of him at 8, getting on base for Stanfield, Curiel, and Jones. I don't know if you're going to see a lot of punch from LSU's order today because the wind is whipping in from center field. It's going to be a tough day to get the ball out of the ballpark, but I think LSU's lineup has more ways to score than just that one. Jay Johnson talked about that a lot over the last couple of weeks, about how he felt last year. They kind of became Tommy White or Jarrett Jones hitting it over the fence or just not a lot else, and that's not a good way to try to win baseball games. You got to be more balanced. You got to be able to hit the ball on a line. You got to be able to steal some bases, get a bunt down when that needs to happen, and play in a different environment than just a launching pad. We'll see what they can do today against a team that's clearly going to be outmatched. The Mastodons of Purdue-Fort Wayne, not a stellar club, but LSU needs to go out there and take care of business in this one, and we certainly hope that they do. Jacob Beck, we got some take it or leave it to do while we close things up from the box?
Yes, we do.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All righty, first one here. Hunt, I hope you saw this link I just sent you. Go ahead and check your phone real quick. I just sent you a link for some new uniforms that your favorite team, the Texas A&M Aggies, have revealed for their basketball team. Uniforms are take it or leave it.
Beck, these are offensively terrible. Just
so
could
bad.
not leave it any more quickly.
So bad.
It is so bad. I don't. What is the deal?
I don't know.
Are these like throwback in some way? Adidas has got them in these. It looks like a onesie, and it's gray with a T on it. It's just awful. It's got the number on the knee. That's got to be some sort of throwback to some A&M basketball team that didn't win anything. It's not good. It's not good. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, they're terrible. I mean, it just has a T on it. I don't understand what it has to be a throwback, but still, it just looks awful. It's one of the worst that I've seen this year for sure.
I love to hear that.
All right, next one here. There will be no debauchery at the Eagles Super Bowl parade. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave that.
Leave it alone.
They're going to come up a little shy of the Cubs championship parade. That had 4 million at it. That was like the 6th largest gathering of humans in the history of the world. Eagles will have 1 million, they say, and they're going to be on their worst behavior because that's what the people of Philly pride themselves on. They pride themselves on being vulgar, irreverent, and obnoxious. And so my guess is they'll be vulgar, irreverent, and obnoxious at a Super Bowl parade. But, hey, you do what you need to do. You won the game. That's great.
All right, last one here. I'm not sure if you got to see this, but Shaq on NBA on TNT last night, they're in their halftime show, seemed to be a little tired and frustrated, and quoted the great Marshawn Lynch, and did not censor his words. He said, "I'm tired as America. We are getting fired anyway. Ernie, F it." Shaq dropping some language on NBA on TNT. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it.
Leave it alone.
I love the big fella. You know how good that show is. It's phenomenal. It's a bummer that because of all the contracts, they're going to potentially go away here. I don't even know the latest on it, but clearly Shaq's not happy about it. So you just don't need to do it. It can be done in a more lighthearted way. You got the kiddos potentially watching. I just don't need vulgarities. I realize there are a lot of folks who just don't care about that at all and think it's fine for 10-year-olds to hear terrible words, and that's fine. I'm just not necessarily inclined to think the same way. It's not necessary, Shaq. I love the big fella, and I'm bummed out the show's going away, but I don't think you have to have to sign off that way.
All right, that's it.
All right. I think we've done just about all we can do here. They are putting away all of the tents and all of the areas that have been set up over here in the fan zone. It's been a heck of an afternoon, and based on the amount of folks that have walked by here and have gone into the stadium, I'm expecting a heck of a crowd in there today and hopefully all weekend. If you missed this, this has been 24 hours since they did it, so I'm hopeful that you haven't missed this. But if you have tickets for tomorrow, if you're working today and thought, well, I can't get there, so let me go to the second game, they've moved it up tomorrow. So game time tomorrow was scheduled for 1 o'clock. It'll be at 11 o'clock tomorrow at the box. So there was thought that maybe they could play a doubleheader today, maybe bump it to Sunday because the weather's supposed to be a little bit better, although chilly. Said, no, we're going to get it in. We're going to play at 11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock first pitch from the box, and you can hear all the action on Eagle 98.1, our sister station there, the flagship of the LSU Tigers. Appreciate everybody who came out and said, hey, it's been a heck of an afternoon. I am fired up to get in there and watch this team play, not only today but for the rest of the spring. I do think it's going to be a heck of a ball club, and they just got to come together, and it's got to come together a little more quickly than it did last year, and that means conference play. This is about getting reps. This is about trying different combinations. This is about winning some games while you improve, and that's what LSU's got to do over the next 4 weeks. We've done all we can do from the fan zone here. Big shout-out to Jamie Tutco, LSU's Director of Player Development, who gave us a little bit of time in full uniform today. Big shout-out to Kramer Robertson, who came over and said, hey, talk to us for about 10 minutes at the end of hour number 1. A big shout-out to Preston Guy, who made some time for us as well, talking a little football. If you missed any of it, you can catch it on demand. 1045ESPN.com's on demand tab. Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google, wherever you find your sound, you can always find us. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. That's it. I'm done. And usually it's 3 o'clock. It's only 2 o'clock today. That means Matt's got to go for 3 hours. He will drive you home for the weekend. We're back Monday. Same time. Well, different time, different place. I'm going to watch some baseball the rest of the way. Y'all have a great weekend.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment